Nothing. You good? Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks. I see there are still some people coming online for the session, but I think we'll start along. We're going to start off with a quick presentation just to position the quality control that we have built into the EB Experts WIP product. So thanks for joining. Really appreciate your time. We're not going to take so much time. Expect it will be about half an hour to maybe 45 minutes, depending on the questions. Hoping you'll have some good questions. Ask anything. We're happy to address all the questions. So just some housekeeping. If we can start, this webinar is being recorded. The webinar audio, you can join that via the voice over IP option that you have. So connect via the internet, and then all participants are muted, and then you can chat to us. So use the chat box to chat to us, and then like I said, should run for about 30 to 45 minutes. And thanks again for your attendance. We hope we can give you a good show, and looking forward to your questions. So just quickly, what is WIP for Qlik? So if you know us, I see there are some partners and some customers. Of course, you will know EB Experts VM, so version manager for Qlik Sense and QlikView, which was the previous software, it's client server architecture. And then what we did was we upgraded that to the web architecture work in progress product, which is called WIP. So if you look at what WIP does, it manages your work in progress. So we've implemented some agile requirements and release management features. So integrating the requirements that you get from your business users to your developers, and collaborating between developers and admin and business users, and the release management. So the publication following the release management packages that you are releasing. And then we still have the very good, of course, source control and the quality control, which is what we're here to talk to about today. And then the publication management, so how those two things integrate and work together. And then, of course, we have the central admin will show how you configure and how you manage the features that we'll show today. And then the full audit that you can run within the system. So the question is, why quality control? So in Version Manager, we had a really good, well, actually a great source control product. So it connects through the API to your different vendors, products, and then of course we had really good security, source control, and audits capability in there, and the publication management and the version management. That's really good. But at the same time, we had not any good quality control over there. So we still had the admin users kind of having really big challenges within their different environments, and within those environments, and the quality problems within those environments. So not so long ago, we had a long discussion with a lot of customers, and what came out of that was that not all developers are equal. So your script code, your script quality, your method for approaching your application, applications changing, that was supposed to be small end up being large beasts. And yet the quality from one developer to another varies, of course. The environments become unstable when you put poor quality applications with loops and different things in there. Policies are not being adhered to. So even if you have a good policies and procedures for your development environment, people don't tend to adhere to that, and there's no recourse. So that being the biggest challenge. So the development procedures are not being enforced to those users because there's no product or tools to do that. Quality reviews are not being performed, meaning that you can't go back and check who did what. Different policies for different environments, are difficult to enforce. So when you have multiple products, multiple environments, your dev, QA, production, pre-prod, etc., managing and keeping everybody up to date with the different policies and procedures that you have and requirements that you have for different environments become very difficult. People come, people go, and of course the new people are coming on and developing all the time, and especially in a Qlik environment where you have a more self-service type development environment as well. So there's no root cause analysis, it's not possible. And then of course it's very difficult and time consuming to maintain quality across Qlik product and all the environments. So all of these things contribute to the quality control challenges that our customers are having. So what we did was we implemented a two-factor quality control in the WIP product. So we have the policy validation being the first factor, and the second factor being the system control complexity analysis that we've implemented for the Qlik products. So on your policy validation, you have your policy checklist. So you can set up your checklist, and people will have to confirm or validate that checklist before they actually publish into an environment. So you have it's controlled per environment and controlled per publication or deployment, if that's your terminology. Then you have the system control complexity analysis, where it's file and version based complexity analysis, and then you have the thresholds which are set per environment. You have the quality assessment, which is done per environment and across all the different environments. You have the controlled and public, it's controlled on a publication. So that's the great thing about it. We'll show you that. And then, of course, we have built in that dispensation. So if you do have an application, we all have them. There's always one beast that outranks the rest, and they require publication to go into something like a production environment. They are far past the thresholds you have set for the total environment. So that one, is the one that then needs to be checked by one or more people, and then published once we know that everything is 100%. So what you have will come here now, and what we'll have is a view on the publication, so that you have publication and deployment, and you have the policy validation checklist over here, so you can actually validate your different checks so the developer will have to validate that he or she has done all of these things before they are able to publish. And then on the same view on the publication, we bring in whether you can actually pass or fail into that environment. So you can publish the application, meaning that you can publish it into your development environment, or you can't. You failed the thresholds that have been set for your production environment. So what we've done essentially with WIP is, we built a lot of features for business users and developers, but for this webinar, we're really focusing on that policy control, which is from a developer getting the work into an environment and having the control, both having the validations from the developer, and then having the control from the system on the publication itself, and then being able on those that are requiring dispensation, having that ability to get that dispensation and get it published by an administrator. So without further ado, I think we'll move over to the demo. So I stop sharing, and we just hand over to Craig quickly. Craig will be driving for us today, and I'll do the talking. Hi, sorry for the delay. We are back. Are you sharing? There we go. Okay, excellent. So what we'll do is Craig is driving fast, so he's logging in as a development user. You can go to YouTube or log into the site if you want to see some more demos about the product. So he's logging in as a developer and into the QlikSense dev environment. And then let's go to files. So we'll first look at how the complexity analysis is implemented on a file. So here you can see a file. So we're in the Qlik quality assurance folder, and you can see we're on the license monitor QVS file over there, and it's version 102. The complexity index is 13.85 on this file. And you can see the folder, it's the Qlik quality assurance. So let's open that file quickly and go into the complexity analysis on that file. Here you can see the complexity analysis as it's pulled down from the various times it was checked in and checked out. So across your different versions, so you have version 0, which was your original import of the master file, and then your version 1 and 2, and from there you can see that there's been some changes made. Of course, you can go look at the comparison between those files and impact analysis and all that. But here you can see basically how what has changed between the different files. So we can see some sheet changes over there between the different versions. We can see some objects have changed, and we can see some expressions have changed, etc. So, so on a version, you can see the complexity analysis and how that has changed or improved or decreased the performance of the file across different versions. And you can focus on that version that really has the impact on your and see, interrogate with the with the comparisons. What was actually done? Was there some loop created or something in the script just by running the comparison? So let's cancel over here. And then let's see the published view. So let's start with the end in mind, show the view. This is essentially where it all comes together. So when you want to publish your application into an environment, you have to put the comment over there, and let's look at the different. Let's go to the UAT environment. So what we can see here is the published checklist. So on a UAT environment, we only have a script optimization performance that we need to confirm we have done. And then on the top right, you can see there that so for UAT, if I wanted to publish license monitor, let's click over there. Everything passes. So the whole all the categories are met for this environment as it's been set up already. So we're 100% for UAT. Let's go out of the UAT and then go into the prod. And then, of course, for prod, you always have some more compliance requirements. So you have to confirm that, or you've optimized your script. You have to confirm that you've run Doc Analyzer, for instance. You've removed all the unused fields in there, and then Doc Analyzer recommendations have been applied. And the last one is optional, so we don't have to worry about it. That we have not yet completed all the issues, all the tasks on the issue. This might be middle of a sprint or or at the end of a sprint. Let's click on the failed, so we can see that this application failed the thresholds for this environment. So you can see on the complexity index, it's failed because it is complex. 19 tables, we have 10 sheets, we have lots of objects, the levels are set low. Lots of expressions and set analysis and then log expressions. Okay, so we failed this one, but what we can do is that we can still publish it. So this is an example of a large app that won't ever fit into the publication for that environment. So let's publish it and request the dispensation. So if you look there, complexity analysis exceeds your environment threshold, so request dispensation from the administrator. Let's go ahead and say yes over there. And then what we can do now is, well, what we can see is that the status of the publication is pending at the moment. So it's gone into the workflow, it's pending, and what it is doing is waiting for that administrator to approve this publication. Of course, they will then also go to check the history, check the versions, what happened where, how has it changed from the previous version, the complexity, etc. Let's log out, Craig, and log in as an administrator. So as an administrator, I can now come in and approve the dispensation on that file. And but before we do that, let's have a look at how we actually set up the environment for this. So we have the central administration area, which is there in your configuration, and then you have your different servers that are loaded. So let's go into the QlikSense server, and let's go to the environment list over there and take the prod. Yeah. So essentially, this is where you set up those two validations that you need. So the one is the checklist. So we made it really easy. You can just add your tasks over there on top. So maybe put a test in there. Yeah. You can add your tasks. You can drag them up and down based on the priority. Over to the right, you can set whether they are required, so mandatory. The user, if you have not checked a mandatory field or a mandatory task, then you will also not be able to publish the application. So if it's mandatory, you have to go and do it. And this is, of course, that compliance validation. So should an adverse event happen in your environment, you can come back, audit it, do your root cause, and then you have this that the user actually validated he did do it, but the findings are that he did not or she did not. So you have that root cause validation there. Let's cancel this for now, Craig. Let's go back to environment, yeah, and then to the complexity analysis. So over here, we are in the production environment now on this QlikSense server. On the top there, you can say 02 QlikSense prod. That's the environment that we're on at the moment. And what we can see on the left is all the files that are published into this environment. So there's all the files, and then where they are lying in our repository. Of course, this is WIP, the WIP environment. So it's in our repository, and then what we can do is let's search for our file over there, the license monitor. So you can see across the whole environment all the complexity of all the files in the environment. And then now we're looking at license monitor, and that's the file we're looking at. So that's the one in the quality assurance folder. And let's see that the index it doesn't pass the index and it doesn't pass the tables. We saw this before. But from here, what I can do is now have a look across the whole environment and what should the average be. So I can move the dials or the indexes. Let's move it one more. And if you look at okay, now on 14, you can see that the complexity index, for instance, it went from red to 1385. It being 1385, it went, when we put it on 14, it went to it kind of passed. The red went away. So you can play around with the different indexing. Will of course make it much easier that you get a threshold coming in future releases automatically across the whole environment, for instance. But at the moment, it's manual. You can set it, and then you can save it. So let's not save this on the environment. Let's go to just to quickly show that on options. On options, we have the complexity index over there. And from here, we can basically set up the thresholds that we had in the previous view. So when we looked at those indexes, or when we looked at those dials that we can drag them, this is where you actually set it up across all the environments. So this is not something you set up for one environment only. This will apply to all the environments, and then you go and set your ranges per environment, or thresholds per environment. Good. So we can go to the dashboard. So as an administrator, if you have any questions, please pop them into the chat. So as an administrator, Craig can come into the dashboard, and it just takes a second to load because it's the administrator, and basically they can see everything across the whole platform. So across all servers and all environment. So this is a central dashboard for an administrator. They can see everything that's been reported, user access, your requests. So if people are requesting access to the system, they can approve it from over here. And then over there in the publications, we can see that there's the dev. Is that the one on top there? Right. Yeah. So there's the request that has come in at 3:24 p.m. For approval, and it's ready for publish. So what the administrator can, you can see the user, so it's the dev1 user has requested that. The administrator can now go back into the app. And let's say he's seen it there, he's already now gone and done his comparison views, he's done his, he's looked at the data lineage and the impact analysis, and he's seen the different versions, the complexity between the different versions, and what has changed from this version to the previous one. If it's in line and he's happy, then from here he can come and publish the publication. So the pop-up there says complexity analysis exceeds environment threshold, and then it's asking, do you want to allow the dispensation? So let's go with a yes on there. And we'll just wait for that one to publish so that we can see the status of the file from the publication. Taking its time. Okay, and there we go. So it's published that into it's physically now gone and moved that file, and what it will do is go and reload that file once it's published into a production environment on a QlikSense server. So it's now, if you're running different streams on one server, it would have put it in your production stream. In this case, what we've done is we've told it that when we publish to prod, it needs to go into the stream PRD finance for this application. So it's gone into that PRD stream physically into my QlikSense. So if I logged into my QlikSense environment, I would find that file over there now, ready and probably reloading. So what we can do is we can see it's published. So let's just go to the publication history and have a look at that. Let's take today's date here. So you can pull a full history of every publication, every package that you have released from here. So, and there on top you can see, just click on it. Here we go. There you can see that the publication has been published, and it's not, the status is not published and not published anymore, or pending anymore. Great. So I think we ran through that fairly quickly. Good job, Craig. And if there are any questions, if we can view the chat. If you can maybe give me I can start sharing, and you can tell me if there's any, are there any questions, Craig?
Is the access request to the product or to a QlikSense
application? Can you say again?
Is the access request to the product or to a QlikSense application?
Is the access request to the product or QlikSense application? I'm hoping that I understand. If you mean access request, the two things come to mind. There's the access, what I mentioned there on the dashboard for the admin. The request is actually for users to access, to assign, for the admin to assign a license to a user and then approve that user into the system. So if you, maybe if you show quickly that one, Craig, if I stop sharing, just on the landing page. So any user that should have, if you log out quickly, and any user, the request access over there, working for an organization can come here and request access, and this is the request that will go to the administration user. If my interpretation of the question is incorrect, please just ask it again. But the dispensation request, that goes only to admin users, and only admin users can actually approve. Only users with admin rights can approve that application to be published into that environment. Are there any other questions?
You answered these questions.
Oh, I did. Okay, super. Thanks. Any other questions there?
Is there any automated performance analysis within that, within the load time types? Or is it just a static complexity analysis based on the
It is a, sorry, what was the first, the performance analysis based on?
Is there any automated performance analysis such as within that, checking the load times on the cards? Or is it just a static complexity analysis?
Yeah. It's a static complexity analysis. So as we scan the app, when you check it in and when you check it out, we scan the app. So the scan on the complexity analysis is actually then when you check it back into the WIP repository. So on a version, so it is static. And we scan the app and pull all the metadata out, and then we form the complexity analysis, and there's some calculations and things that run behind there to calculate the index, of course. So it isn't checking the performance of the app, no. I know that there are some environment analyzers for Qlik, QlikView that can do that, but we haven't implemented that yet. More questions? That's it. Okay. We'll just give maybe a couple more seconds if somebody still wants to ask a question, a slow typer like me. Nothing? Okay, great stuff. So thanks everybody. Thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate your participation. If you have any questions, please just pop them. You received some emails from Craig. So if you have more questions or you would like to do a POC or play with WIP a bit, let us know. Get in touch with Craig. And yeah, once again, we thank you for your time and hope this was informative. And then we hope we'll see you on our next webinar or participate in our next event. Thanks so much. That's the end of the webinar.